We're at Panels on Pages, and we're at the Chicago Comic-Con still, if you can believe it. And with us now is the guest of honor, Mr. Mark Millar. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks.
Excellent. How you
Guest of
doing?
honor just shows how much they've slumped in recent years.
That's pretty harsh. That's nasty. So yesterday the big panel was you showed the Kick-Ass footage. How'd that go?
It worked out great, which is a relief because a bunch of my friends raised $50 million of their own cash. Literally phoned round pals and raised $50 million. So if it was shit, it would have been really terrible, and I'm so pleased everybody liked it. I mean, genuinely, I was looking nervously out to the audience. So when they all jumped up and we got a standing ovation at the end. Were you guys there? Did you see the thing?
My initial reaction was that he's like, they have Hit Girl. I'm like, okay, does she say cunt? And he's like, yes, she does. It's amazing.
That's the first question everybody asks.
That's your first line in the book. It's terrible. It's just, it's adorable. It's just beautiful.
It's got to say that when you pull the cord on the toy, it's got to say that, isn't it? Do you know we've actually got the range of clothes already lined up? I saw the prototypes about a month ago. And one of the investors in the movie, this guy put in a few million. He's a guy called Stephen Marks, and he's one of Britain's richest men. And he owns a company called French Connection UK, which is FC UK. Is his company is it over here? Yeah. And they have the license to do the products, and all the clothes are coming out the week before the movie. So there's Hit Girl beanies and hoodies and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's really cool actually. It's great,
Awesome. So what's going on with Ultimate launch, Ultimate Avengers, Ultimates?
Well, we had this idea that the Ultimate line went off the boil really for a couple of years.
We noticed.
Yeah, it's for the last in the last decade, it's the industry's most successful line. All the books consistently through most of this decade sold around the 100,000 mark, and there's no other line that's been like that. Like the Superman line of books or the Batman line of books or X books don't do that. Pardon me, like a couple of the books occasionally do that, but we consistently for most of the decades all did around that sort of 80 to 100, so it's been crazy. And luckily there was never too many books. There was always about 4 a month. It was always just nice. But something happened a couple of years ago and it just seemed to go off the boil a little bit, So Marvel's idea was, let's get this little money spinner back on track, So they wanted to do a big event and then relaunch all the books out of the event. It's the first Ultimates relaunch. And the lineup of creators they got was a pretty tight one because I think that's what made it work initially. It was just me and Bendis and some A-list artists, So they're doing the same thing. It's just me, Bendis, Loeb and Warren Ellis, with guys like Carlos Pacheco, Leinil Francis Yu, and real cream with it. I mean, all the guys that left in the Marvel Universe now are shit compared to the guys we've got. It's great, We just took all the good ones and brought them over again with us. So it's good. It's all about quality control. It's not rocket science. You get the biggest characters and put the best writers and the best artists on them, and it's going to work. It's going to sell, And what you do is, as long as you don't dilute it with a few shit guys, then it'll actually do really, really well. That's the formula.
When you say it, it sounds a lot easier. When you say it out loud, it makes a lot more sense.
It really does. And Marvel Knights was like that as well. When Marvel Knights started, it was Kevin Smith, Joe Quesada. It was a real cream of talent. Jay Lee, and they kept the number of books small, and they kept the creators as A-list as possible. And that's what we did in the Ultimate books too. And we're just really using that formula again. So it can't go wrong. And now the numbers are in. The numbers are crazy. The numbers are really good on the books.
So when does it start off? Like when does the Ultimates Avengers start?
I think it's in a couple of weeks' time. Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate Avengers are out in the same month, I think. And I think it's about maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Cool. But it's looking really good. I'm really pleased with it. I'm happy how it's gone. And I want to kick Loeb's ass, because he's so competitive. And normally I wouldn't bother, but Loeb is so competitive. And he always sends me little emails with his sales figures and things like that, So I want to just, kick his ass on this and say, look, I'm taking you back to school, Loeb. Here's how many books we sold,
Excellent.
So yeah.
So what's going on with some of the Millarward books? I heard something about a sequel to Chosen, perhaps, maybe?
Yeah, well, I've been very lucky. Wanted was the first creator-owned thing I did, and then it became a big movie, and it's now a big second movie getting made and everything. The sequel's getting made now. Now Kick-Ass.
What's that like, having Wanted 2 when no Wanted 2 in the comic? That's kind of crazy, right?
JG and I get paid the same money over again. Every time they do a sequel or a prequel or a remake, we get exactly the same amount of money again. It's great. It's brilliant. Exactly. Yeah, I don't care whether it's good or bad, as long as we get paid, it's great. But luckily the first one was so great, and it's the same team, so we're pretty confident it's going to be all right. Kick-Ass worked out really well. Love the movie; it's worked out great. Matthew's done a brilliant job, and Sony picked up War Heroes and everything. So and American Jesus is now in production as a film as well. So our track record on those first few books was just crazy. Getting them all made into films fast, and the books all going down really well. So I'd be a fool not to do more creator owns. Plus, it's great fun. It's doing something that you don't have to cross over with other people's books and all that. You know, it's just brilliant. You know.
What's coming up with the War Heroes for Dynamite? What's happening with that?
Well, Tony had other work he had to do for the year. You know, I mean, he was doing War Heroes for free, and getting money on the back end. You know, whereas, you know, doing stuff at DC and all that, he was getting paid. So, guy's got to make a living. You know, so yeah, yeah. And now he has finished issue 3, and now I'm late with issue 4. You know, so fuck knows when it's coming out. You know, we'll see. You know, but but the other stuff, Dave Gibbons and I are going to do a create your own book over the next year. You might have heard of him. He did Watchmen. He's a little known British creator, you know. And Linnell Francis Yu and I are doing a create your own book. Steve McNiven and I are doing a create your own book. The McNiven book will be out really soon, actually, inside about the next 8 months.
Cool.
Very, very soon after, no, less, maybe 6 months. Very soon after Old Man Logan concludes.
Cool.
So I want to ride those coattails of all those good artists, and, you know.
So when does the Kick-Ass movie come out?
Well, we're looking at, I think, the final week in February, the start of March or something, round about that time. The 300 slot is kind of what we want, because next summer you've got Iron Man 2 and all the good movies again, and I want to be in amongst all those shit movies, you know, so that we don't have any competition. But issue 7 is out in about 3 weeks, and it's just crazy delays. The reason, very simply, is our own success, because Johnny was producing in the movie and all that, and he just had to take time off. He couldn't do the book, and the movie had to take precedence over the book, you know, because, you know,
$50 million of your friend's money, right?
yeah, it's like every day Nicolas Cage gets, like, you know, between $500,000 and $1 million a day, right? So it's like if he's standing around waiting, you're losing money, you know. So like, so Johnny just had to go and take care of business on the film stuff, and Johnny's the hardest working guy in comics. I mean, everybody knows this. The output's amazing, the phenomenal amount of pages he does, but even he has his limits, which was he was working on Spider-Man all day and Kick-Ass in the evenings, but the Kick-Ass movie took over in the evenings, and he just didn't have time. But that's all done now, you know, and he's back. He's done the whole animated thing. Great thing for him too, to direct 2 minutes of a movie is amazing, you know. Yeah. For an Italian, that's incredible, you know. I mean, most of these guys work in like pizza places and stuff like that, you know. So for him to be trusted by doing a movie is that's
More than 4 people are going to see it, right? So it's going to be a big deal. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for talking to us. Good stuff. Good stuff. And so yeah, we'll see you next time, Shriram. Good stuff. Next time you're back in the States, catch us out.